Before we start, this video is part of my Stranger Things characters ranking series, where I ranked how every character's story and ending turned out. And today, we're talking about one character whose ending hits harder than most, Steve Harrington. From high school jerk to the heart of Hawkins, let's break down why King Steve deserves his place. In the massive world of modern franchises, protagonists are often one-in-a-million heroes with superpowers or destiny on their side. But Steve Harrington is the opposite. He is a reflection of the audience. Originally written as a stereotypical 1980s high school jerk meant to be killed off in the first season, Steve evolved into the emotional glue and the beating heart of Stranger Things. This wasn't just luck. It was a masterclass in character writing that allowed us to connect with him on a deeply human level. We don't root for him because he is perfect. We root for him because he wasn't. But he decided to do better. When we first meet Steve in Season 1, he gives off a distinct high school jerk vibe. He is the rich, handsome king of Hawkins High, who seems more focused on his hair than anything else. His first appearance involves climbing through Nancy's window like a ninja under the guise of studying, only to turn it into a romance session. He invites her to a party at his house purely because his parents are away, and he opens beer cans with a specific cool flair just to impress her. At this stage, Steve is operating on Toho autopilot, making decisions based more on insecurity and the desire for popularity than on actual character. He hangs out with toxic, self-centered kids like Tommy and Carol, who egg on his worst impulses. When he breaks Jonathan's camera, it looks like pure bullying. However, the sources remind us of the context. Steve was reacting to the fact that Jonathan had secretly taken photos of Nancy while she was changing. While his actions were immature, they came from a place of protecting the girl he loved. This complexity, a bad boy with a good heart buried deep, is what convinced the Duffer Brothers and actor Joe Keery to keep him alive. The true redemption arc. For Steve didn't come from a single grand moment, but a series of small, difficult choices. After a fight with Jonathan, Steve realized his friends were the ones who truly wrote the insults about Nancy on the theater marquee. He didn't just walk away, he took responsibility, cleaned the graffiti himself, and apologized. The defining moment of his heroism occurred when he saw the lights flicker at the buyer's house. Despite believing Nancy was cheating on him with Jonathan, he turned his car around because he knew something was wrong. He entered a house filled with traps and a monster he didn't understand. Instead of running to save his own life, he stayed to fight the Demogorgon with a baseball bat to save Nancy and Jonathan. This transition from selfishness to selflessness is why audiences love him. Psychologically, we tend to value a bad person who turns good even more than someone who was always perfect. By Season 2, Steve had matured into a perfect boyfriend material, focusing on his studies and maintaining a decent relationship with Nancy. However, when their relationship crumbled under the weight of Nancy's guilt over Barb, Steve didn't become bitter. He showed immense maturity by letting her go. Recognizing her connection with Jonathan was what she needed. This heartbreak led to the show's most iconic duo, Steve and Dustin. Steve became the salmon big brother and father figure that Dustin lacked, offering life advice on everything from hair care to how to talk to girls. This role wasn't forced. It happened naturally when he realized these kids were under his protection. He famously declared, "I may be a pretty shitty boyfriend, but it turns out I'm actually a pretty damn good babysitter." He transitioned from being a spoiled teenager to a poco reluctant protector priest, who thrived on being useful rather than being liked. Season 3 saw Steve leaning into his inner goof. No longer tied to high school popularity, he wore a silly sailor uniform at Scoops Ahoy and worked as an ice cream boy. This season highlighted his constant life crisis. While others were moving on, Steve was jumping from job to job, struggling with self-doubt. His relationship with Robin Buckley further redefined his character. When he confessed his feelings for her and she came out to him, his reaction was one of quiet acceptance. He didn't judge her or make it about his own rejection. He simply shifted into being her best friend. For a character who started as an alpha male jock, this vulnerability and emotional risk-taking showed a massive shift in his definition of masculinity, moving from status and bravado to cruelto, care, and consistency once. As the series progressed into its darkest chapters, Steve became the leader of the group. He is described as the muscle, but he is also the one who thinks like the audience, making simple, common-sense observations that the genius characters often overlook. His heroism in Season 4 reached a peak when he dived headfirst into Watergate to find the Upside Down, almost dying at the hands of demo bats. Even when facing death, his focus was on others. He shared a dream with Nancy about a normal life and a big family, revealing an underlying layer of loneliness and an ache for connection that gives his character profound emotional weight. Furthermore, Steve has a unique style flair in his movements. Whether he is swinging his nail-studded bat with a specific flair, or catching a telephone receiver during a fight with Russians, he remains a golden boy who is stylish even when he is losing. Steve Harrington doesn't just grow alone, he molds the characters around him. For Dustin, he provided a male role model, teaching him to be strong and helping him grow into a leader. In Season 5, Steve even used harsh words to help Dustin break out of his paralyzing grief over Eddie. For Robin, he provided a safe space where she could be herself without fear of the era's homophobic culture. For Nancy, he recognized her brilliance and gave her the confidence to become the Rambo-like warrior she is today. Why Steve deserves the greatness? Steve Harrington is the ultimate character arc because he is grounded under diabetes. He isn't saving the world with superpowers or grand intellectual plans. He is saving kids with a nail-studded bat and a beat-up car. He is a character who started as someone you were meant to forget and became someone the show would fall apart without. The Duffer Brothers made their best decision when they chose not to kill him in Season 1, allowing him to evolve from a bully to a babysitter to a leader. Steve Harrington didn't just survive Hawkins. He became the hero we all see ourselves in. King Steve truly deserves this greatness. Analogy for understanding. Steve Harrington is like a rough piece of coal that instead of being crushed by the immense pressure of the Upside Down, turned into a diamond. While other characters were born as bright gems, Steve had to burn away his old, rusty layers of ego and insecurity to reveal the high-performance heart underneath. He might be covered in dents and bruises from every fight he's lost, but he is the most reliable car in the garage, always ready to drive the kids to safety. So that's Steve Harrington. Not the smartest, not the strongest, but the one who grew the most. In my all characters ending ranking, Steve's journey proves that the best endings aren't about winning. They're about becoming better. If you like this breakdown, give the video a like. If you didn't like it, tell me why in the comments. And if you enjoy character rankings and Stranger Things content, subscribe.